Hello and welcome to my first video shoot of 2025. The snow is now nicely melting, but it's still chilly, so I will try not to catch hypothermia in the process. I'm going to talk today about a car from a natively chilly land, Sweden, and that is Volvo, of course. Volvo have had a reputation for safety for decades. They were one of the first, if not the first, to fit seatbelts as standard in a production car, and they pretty much pioneered the impact bumper. You will recall that when the US demanded that kind of legislation in the 70s, they were the first pretty much to jump at the chance of putting those safety bumpers on all of their vehicles worldwide. They've been renowned for their boxy looks over the years, which in some circles have achieved a cult status. The 240 series, for instance, that was derived from the 140, was probably more synonymous with that boxiness in many respects, especially the station wagons. And that, of course, went on to the Project Galaxy cars, the 400 and 800 series, one of which I own. But in 1992, Volvo did something that was unimaginable. They produced a concept car that wasn't boxy. The car wasn't exactly imaginatively titled. It was called the ECC, which stood for Experimental Concept Car. It was a little bit sinuous in places. It was an unusual design with a raised bonnet and flanks either side of it, which drooped down onto the wings front and back. And it had very much a bull-nosed look to it. That look actually went into production in 1998, some years later, as the S80. And the S80 was a massive hit worldwide. That particular car was toned down for the second generation in 2006. It wasn't that large. I would say it was more sort of middling, BMW 5 Series. But it had a raft of engines ranging from Ford's 1.6 litre EcoBoost and a 1.6 litre diesel through to a host of 4 and 5 and 6 cylinder engines to a range topping 4.4 litre V8 that was supplied by Yamaha. The S80 was replaced in 2016, and the car that previewed its axing in 2016 was this, the S90, which was first shown at the Detroit Motor Show in January of 2015. It went on sale the following year. The first Polestar, the Polestar 1, was derived from this very car. I mean, you used the same platform. That was, of course, essentially like a two-door coupe version of this car. But this car was not considered a direct replacement for the S80, not least because the number of engines was completely rationalised to just one, a 2 litre turbo. A twin turbo, I think, developing 314 horsepower. But there were two wheelbase lengths. What we have here is the first generation S90, and we're going to talk about this in a little bit more detail, and then we're going to take it for a drive and I'll let you know what I think. I'm Darren, and this is Auto Atlantica. So the S90, as I said, debuted at the 2015 North American International Auto Show in Detroit, and it sort of indirectly replaced the former S80. It's a similar size. This 2 litre turbo develops 316 horsepower. It's called the T6, and it was produced until about 2022, when in many markets, this one included, it was replaced by the B6 hybrid, or a series of hybrids. Assisted hybrid developed about 295 horsepower. The full-on plug-in developed over 400. That effectively replaced the old V8. It's a very handsome car, as you can see. It's very striking. It's very conservative as well, which you would expect from a Volvo. Now you can see that this is the long wheelbase model, and I'll show you inside so you can see what I mean when I say that. But it's several inches longer than the short wheelbase car, and curiously in the United States the long wheelbase version replaced the short wheelbase car from 2019, which is what this one is. This trim level is called Inscription, by the way. It did get a minor facelift in 2022 when it went to hybrid only. Up front we've got this concave grille, which is really striking. I love those chrome inserts. And the Thor's hammer headlights, that LED light bar that's within the headlight is the shape of Thor's hammer, apparently, and it was introduced on a whole bunch of different Volvos and Polestar models. You are greeted by this trifecta of different materials in the doors. You've got this sort of soft plastic which has got weaving in it, and then this soft leather, it's like a Napa leather, that is just gorgeous, and then these chrome bezels flanked by this real wood trim. It is delightful. You've got a full digital dashboard in here as well. You've got air conditioned seats. It is very Scandinavian in its approach. Everything makes sense. All the controls are minimal but intuitive, and the graphics are absolutely beautiful, very professional looking. You've got this full length cover to the center console here, and you've got the 12-volt socket in there. You've got the stop start button there, which you turn to one side to start the car, and a very nice traditional automatic gear lever. It's very minimalist. The steering wheel could only come from a Volvo. It's lovely, it's nice and chunky, it's quite small, feels great. Okay, I think the battery in the remote is on its way out, so I wasn't able to open the trunk with it. But anyway, let's do it the old-fashioned way. You could easily fit the family shopping in there, or take your buddies on a golf outing. There's a lot of room in there. There's a button that will close the boot itself as well. That's a nice touch. Inside, I love these little things, like you've got this beautiful mirror here. Got a built-in compass right there. I've always loved that positioning for a compass in a car. A lot of cars have gone away from that, but this maintains it. The whole interior is just stunning. This is something that the American manufacturers are only now catching on to, like Cadillac with its EVs, where you've got this beautiful bespoke kind of finishing that you don't find on every single model. There isn't the sort of generic switchgear that you find on every other model. The Harman Kardon speakers and stereo are a really nice touch. I love this real wood, as I've said before, and the two different types of materials in here for this really soft Napa style leather, and then this soft use of plastics. In fact, this feels like leather in itself. And the stitching is just divine. You've got full navigation here. It's a smallish screen by modern standards, but it's not overbearing. It's really nice and simple, and it tells you what you need to know. You just press this to go back to your home screen. It tells you if there's Bluetooth, there's a phone connected. You can optimize the sound for everybody in the car as well. And then you've got the climate controls, which are really easy to get at, and you can set the front two zones and the rear zone right from the front here. Now, off the bat, it's very smooth. I've driven this already, and that turbo 4 is very punchy. The only problem for me is that, as a car guy, it sounds like a 4-cylinder turbo as well. So, you know, during tick over, it sounds a little bit like a sewing machine, which your senses go into overload when you consider what kind of car this is. When it sounds like that, I would much prefer this with a straight 6 or even a 5. But it's very quiet, and the pickup is fantastic. Like I say, about 316 horsepower. That said, the extra power you get from the hybrid models, I would imagine is probably much more suitable, because you've just got that extra torque. There is a station wagon version of this as well, the V90. As far as handling and ride are concerned, I mean, I would imagine that this car, it's not far off the size of my 7 Series, with that extra length from the long wheelbase. But it's certainly no BMW in the way that it drives. This is much more of a tourer, I think, than a driver's car per se. This is the kind of car that you can just get in and go on a road trip. The gauges are classic Volvo typeset, the same that I've got in my 850. I love that. All the controls are to hand, everything is really easy to get at. The various materials you've got, I love this piano black plastic, this gloss piano black that's on all the buttons there. That is just lovely. You can set the drive mode here as well. You got an electronic parking brake, which sucks, but there you go. Passenger airbag information is up top here, rather like GM does, and then you've got sunroof controls here as well. Now, I mentioned earlier that this car was produced through to 2025, and the reason for that is that the new S90 that's coming out is going to be an EV only job, so that's the way that everything's going. This would be a neat car to have, with it being the last sort of all petrol version. I think what I love about this car the most is that since sedans have largely gone out of favour, and most of Volvo's model range now are crossovers, it's just nice to be able to drive a traditional luxury sedan. And at the end of the day, that's what this is. It is meant to be more sort of executive market than full-on luxury, I get that, but these touches really do make you feel that you are in an upscale luxury car. I would love to daily this, I really would. This is a car, like I say, that's really designed for wafting along on an interstate for hours and hours. You could easily do that in this car. You've got an absolute ton of power underfoot here. You could step down and it would just go. Now, these were initially built in Sweden, and the long wheelbase version was built in China at the Dukang plant in China. In 2019, this model year, the long wheelbase version replaced the short wheelbase version in some markets, including the US. So all of these cars, including this one, now come from China, and it is beautifully built. The car doors shut with a solid thunk. Everything feels totally premium. In fact, when I was talking to Brian at Stadium, and he was telling me how impressed he was with the fit and finish of the car, and I said, do you know where it's made? And he said, no. Sweden? I said, no, China. It feels like a premium European car, but it's straight out of China. I've got this seat a little bit raised up, and I really like this driving position. It gives you that sort of SUV type quality of sitting higher up, but with the overall feel of a performance sedan. Like I say, for me, I just wish it just had a 6 in it, because it would just feel just that bit more punchier and smooth, but there's plenty of power as is. So I guess the question is then, would I want this car? Yes, absolutely. And I'd have it again. I'd buy it on a Saturday, and I'd have it again on a Sunday, and I'd buy it again every day of the week. I love this thing. And I know people who watch my videos saying, yeah, you're going to say that. But there's a lot of fantastic cars out there these days. You know, technology has come on so much that gives you every single convenience that you want, would ever want. And this has got a beautiful sound system, for instance. It's got Apple CarPlay and Android Auto in there. It's got every convenience that you really want. I think for 20 grand and 72,000 miles on the clock, it's an amazing car. The navigation system tells you what the speed limit is on the dashboard, right within the speedometer itself. It's a feel-good car, is this. It makes you feel like $1 million. You feel cosseted, you feel engaged, and above all, you feel safe. It is the kind of car that when you leave the office, it sort of like gives you a hug and says, come on, let's have a drive. So that's it for my time with the 2019 Volvo S90. This is a true 21st century executive express. There's no doubt about it. It's easy on fuel because it's a 4-cylinder turbocharged engine. It's very rapid as well, 320 horsepower to play with thereabouts. It's very comfortable with that Napa style leather, and the fabrics are just beautiful. It's really nicely put together as well, with that solid clunk of the doors. The electronics inside are harmonious, and they don't stand out like a sore thumb. It's got all the creature comforts that you could wish for as well, right down to the electronic blinds like my BMW's got. It looks the part, standing on these big alloy wheels as well, and the chrome trim is just enough to get somebody like me excited as well, without it looking too gaudy. It's just fantastic. For me, this is a future collectible, because it's the last executive sedan that Volvo has offered that's full on ICE, and I think that stands for something. This has been a pleasure to drive this car today, and I hope you've enjoyed watching. Please do consider subscribing as well to future videos if you like this video, and by all means comment as well. That kind of feedback means a lot. I'm Darren, and this is Auto Atlantica.